Whoa. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. If you're not new, welcome back. My name is Jade, and thank you for clicking on this video. This is basically going to be like a part 2, or just like, I just want to call these I don't know, whatever kind of talks that they're going to be, just about life, religion, spirituality, philosophy, art. It's just a conversation, right? But this is, since my first big video was about religion, I feel like because I didn't leave a lot of things out, but a lot accounted for me leaving religion, period. But I just wanted to do like a follow-up type of video and kind of like say how it's been since I've put out the video, because I feel like not my life has changed, but definitely got a lot of different perspectives on my video from friends and family, and some good, some not so warm and fuzzy, which is okay, but you know, it's just an adjustment period for myself and for others, because this is something that's not a norm in my family. So it's, yeah. I first want to say thank you to who's ever watched it, first of all. Thank you to whoever's watched it, liked it, supported it, commented on it, whether it was on here or on Instagram or somewhere else. Thank you. I appreciate your thoughts, your words. I just love the conversation in general because I like talking about it. It's something that I like to just talk about because it's something that I feel is so... It is a touchy subject because it's something that is so deep and can be so personal to people. So thank you. I thank you for that. And the overall feedback has been really good. And, you know, I think, which leads me, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about my next subject, would be maybe reactions from people when announcing yourself or announcing a new thing that you're into. Although this isn't something that it's a new thing, maybe new within like the last, I want to say the last, I don't know, because I feel like I've been deconstructing for like 10 years now. It's 2025, and sometimes it's hard for my mind to think 2015 I was in college already questioning a lot of things. So I feel like this isn't really a new thing, but maybe I think because I'm becoming so vocal about it, I think is where it kind of like triggers people a little, or can be a little bit more uncomfortable, because if I just want to live in my truth, it's going to require me speaking up more, which is hard for me to do, but I think I'm getting a little better at it. I mean, I posted a whole basically coming out video online, so I think I'm doing an okay job. But yeah, also I want to say that I realized while editing that video that I was looking around a lot. I can't focus, y'all. I'm sorry. It's just how my brain is. Like I said, it could be the undiagnosed autism, ADHD, whatever it may be. It's hard for me to just look solely and tell an uncomfortable story. If I'm telling you something I'm interested in or I'm focused on, I know. But if I'm telling something personal, I'm going to be like, you know, looking everywhere, because that's how I can get it out right now. That's how I've learned to get out, is just to use my hands, talk funny, shake, I don't know, I say I don't know a lot. I'm saying all that to say, yeah, I noticed it too, so, I don't know. Along with my leaving of the church, I want to say it was definitely like I had a conversation with my sister, my lovely sister, and you know, she had her opinions, and I'm very grateful because anything she says to me, I take like, you know, as wisdom, but then also I'm like, okay, I have my own mind, so, but I do agree with some notes that she had for me, which is that I didn't mention a whole lot in that video, in my first video, that I did have good times in the church. And something that my mom was saying too is that she differentiates the church and the religion of it all. Like the church, I think how I'm thinking of it is the church is a place you can find free food, you know, if you're needing it, like they give to others, you know, or, you know, good churches do. They give back to their own community. They help out, you know, the people in their church, child care, summer programs for, you know, parents who are working. Like my parents were both working all the time, so the church was always that safe place that they knew that we could be safe if it was a place that we needed to go, if it wasn't like friends or family. And so that's something that I had in these conversations after I posted my video, and I'm like, yes, that is very true, that it's the community that I did like about it. Was the religion itself that I left. But I think the two can be also interconnected, because sometimes it wasn't always, you know, positive, you know, but for the most part I did have positive experience with the church community. So that's what I'm trying to say. It can also be a great place to make friends. I have made church friends. I know in my first video I was saying, like, am I only going to be able to have church friends? But the ones that I did make good church friends. I still have a few that I see like on Facebook and stuff. I can't say that I'm close to any in particular, but there are genuinely good people in religion, and I hope that didn't get misconstrued in my first video, but it's probably something that I could have added as a balance of the two. My sister had a conversation with me about is that although like I gave a lot of credit to the people like towards the end of my video, like, you know, the content creators or whatever, that also that my family in general were in a sense, they were the reason why I left and the reason why I left are reasons why I did leave religion. You know, my father takes on a very head of household role that I personally don't see myself being in a relationship of that aspect, because, you know, they really put their religion, like, you know, they use the religion to live their life and to set up how their marriage is set up. I hope I'm explaining that right. Like they you know, they follow the Christian way. I don't know how to explain that, but you know, the man is the head of the household, the woman is, you know, the woman of the household, and you do your duties of the two. So my father, he took on that role, still does, and I appreciate him for that. You know, we still have these discussions because It's something that I personally feel ties into misogyny, and I don't like that aspect because it's revolving your life around a man, and I personally don't do that in my day to day. So that's why I don't partake in the religion. So that had me questioning a whole lot of things. Um, but I understand that that is just how my parents are, or that's how they just want to live their life. And that is okay. That if that's what I see, that is what makes them happy. So I'm not one to say, well, I think this or that, so y'all need to stop. I've never said that. And that's not something that I do want to do because I see it brings some joy. So I'm just saying to say that my family and I have these discussions. They are uncomfortable at times, but I think they are very healthy in the way that they are had for the most part. Sometimes it's not always peachy king, peachy king at all, but I'm just saying when we do, they can be very valuable. In that sense, like my family and I, we do have deep conversations. Like we have conversations about like our dreams, what we think it means. Like my dad has lived an experienced life, so has my mother. So I'm grateful for all their stories that they gained the wisdom to give me. I took all of that, and I guess how my brain sees it is like, if what you're teaching me and wanting me to be so strong in this world, I feel like the religion aspect of it is not helpful, or I don't see the benefit in it. But those conversations that my family and I have, even our closeness of it, like I know stories of, my mom thinking things are evil. That's just her, thinking on stuff. And she doesn't think everything is evil nowadays. But growing up, times were different. So, but yes, she is not as, she sees things more openly now. Okay, so the conversations that, my family and I do have just about life and, the experiences even between like my or my parents and their siblings, and how like my sister and I want to change things between us and learn how to communicate better, like things like that. I felt like I never really attained in the church. I attained different things through the experience of church. But the experiences that I had with my family and those actual real conversations, that I think those conversations where they opened up about their childhood, kind of like I saw them as just as I was as a child. So I don't know. This is getting kind of like deep in the subject. I don't know. It may be overthinking, but to wrap that whole thought up. Okay, I was trying to wrap up my thought, but as you can see, it didn't make sense. So I'm editing my thought in. I was trying to say all of the experiences that my parents had, and they shared stories and certain wisdom at certain times where I was struggling, whether it was in school, with friendship. Those moments I feel like I benefited from more than just going into church, or going for the service and hearing what the pastor had to say. I didn't attain the information. I didn't attain growth that way in my experience. I don't think I did. When I attained growth the most, to me, is when I left the church, when I got real experiences when my parents started opening up more about their past. Stuff like that I find so much more beneficial for growth and just seeing my parents as human and making mistakes and growing from that. I found that so much more valuable to me. So, after posting the video, I am glad, like I had mentioned that I started therapy and I'm now like a couple sessions in and I'm actually really loving it. I like my therapist that I found. It's just like a talk therapy for now, but it feels good to talk about it with someone who isn't someone that I know but is a professional at the same time. I'm really glad that I got or attained her when I did, because it was good to talk about this whole experience with someone other than my family. And so that's been kind of like grounding, and I'm actually really proud of myself for actually stepping into the therapy journey. Yo, this is scummy, isn't it? But I think this video it's going good. So, and lastly, before I make this a little too long, because I need to film something else. But lastly is that the whole deconstruction process itself can be a lonely journey. So this is for people who, this message in particular is for, people who are going through this journey, and it can be kind of lonely because even though like I still am close with my family and have been, there have been times where it's like it's hard to, like in the beginning it would be hard to even have deep conversations or conversations period about what I'm feeling, because I don't want to hurt their feelings of their image of me. Yeah. But that's not healthy, right? I can't like live my life based on how others perceive me. That doesn't sound like something I want to do. But I say all that to say that during this journey, I think it would be very healthy to try to find community who believe the same things that you do or on those same lines that you do, just to help you get through. Not saying that's the only people or to cut off in general. That's also something, is that through this whole process of deconstructing, I think people, like when I mentioned the part of sidetracked, right? I mean, sidetracked. I'm gonna come back to this note, but when I mentioned the part of not wanting to date anyone who believes in God, they kind of fought back on that with me, which I understand. We talked about it a little bit more, and I understand where they're coming from. They're saying they think that because I was trying, no. I'm finding it. I want to be with someone who understands my values and my life views. I was trying to tell, like my mom, for example, like she was thinking like, oh, if you only say you date people who, or you don't want to date people who believe in God, you're cutting yourself off from so many people. I'm like, exactly, that's the point of it all, kind of. But she was like, yeah, but, and my sister was pointing out too that some people may not have even thought about their religion, like, oh, say, well, I'm Muslim because that's how I was raised, but you know, I don't really practice that. I was telling them, like, I want that person to have already thought about that. I'm hopefully you have thought about that. If you haven't, because I already know, because I personally know what that kind of journey can look like if you start to think that what you believed in was no longer true, because it kind of trickles into like the rest of your life and how you are. I think that's something for me to think on, because I can't give that like a good enough answer right now. But going back to the quick topic of finding community who think like you, I was thinking, like, when I was going through this, I would find people like the content creators who had online communities and like the comment sections, who people were going through similar situations and had good advice, different forums and articles, and there's other websites and communities that you can get into. My sister was even mentioning, like, it seemed like I'm trying to reach out for community, and I am. I think that's very apparent that a lot of people are nowadays. I just want that community to be an open one that everyone can live their own lives in peace, and we can just be decent people. So if you can't find those communities though, I feel like it's important to have an outlet, whether that's, you know, a hobby where you can put all those emotions that you're going through into, whether that's painting or coloring or even getting into roller skating, and, you know, learning through that on how to balance. You know, I don't know. If you can get like where I'm going with finding something to take all those emotions and put it into something. Like for me, I really wish that I got more creative, like painting or doing more graphics or mood boards even, which I did do a lot of that. Regardless if it was like New Year's or something, I would always be envisioning what I see myself as. So, you know, putting together mood boards or whatever the case may be, going thrifting thinking I found a new style for myself and whatever, you know. Finding something to do that. If you can't afford therapy, start journaling, doing shadow work, you know, trying to regulate yourself. Because we live in a new age where you have so much access. You just have to go out there and like explore. You make the journey of exploring even fun for you. You know, it doesn't have to be just going to the library. I don't know, just going on a walk. You can learn so much by just going on a walk, honestly. But yeah, so that is all I wanted to say in this little video. I'm about to start filming a thrift haul, because this channel is not just going to be about religion at all. I did put out our first video. It's just kind of me in a little funky, not funky, but yes, I did put out another video before the first religion video. But so let me know what your thoughts are, if you have any other thoughts. But yeah, I do. Also, really quick, I know I said I was thinking about doing a video about being like single at 28 and all that stuff, but I'm gonna wait on that one. I feel like I would have to plan that one out a little bit more and be more specific about what I want to talk about. Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little video catch up, And yeah, check out my next video if you like thrifting. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day, no matter if it's night, morning, afternoon. You're gonna have a great day. It's a great day to have a great day. And remember, everything's gonna be okay. Bye, guys.